We were fine. I think last weekend on the beginning, like the middle of November, November 15th, we went to Arizona.
If you guys haven't seen that video,
make sure you guys...
We posted it up, so make sure you go watch that video. It's nothing big, it's just what we did over there,
But we were at Arizona and we were staying at a hotel, so basically went into the pool. And since Amelia has been taking swimming lessons, we thought, well, let's take her into the pool. Over there wasn't cold or anything. It was pretty like regular temperature. So we put Amelia in the pool, but the first day we didn't put her as long. She was just there for a little bit because she did get cold since the pool wasn't that warm. And then I think the last day we put her in again. But after that, so his brother and his wife, their daughter, that night when we were coming back from Arizona, which is the same day we went to the pool, their daughter started getting a fever, and then she like got like a blisterish type of pimple thing on her leg, and then we didn't think much of it. Amelia had she didn't have anything, so we just thought
she was fine. So that was Sunday.
Yeah, we just thought she got sick, maybe because of taking her to a pool and then taking her out to the cold or something. But Amelia was fine until Wednesday morning, where we woke up around the time he goes to work, which is like around 6, and she got a fever, and I was just like, what the heck, that's kind of weird. So we thought maybe she had gotten sick because the night before we took her swimming and we took her out into the cold. So maybe we were like, oh, she just probably has a small fever. So we just gave her Tylenol. She was just, after a while, she still had the fever and she was still a bit fussy, but she was doing good. And then I think I was the one that took her to the emergency room around 2, and because her fever wasn't going away, and I was just concerned. I don't want to give her Motrin just because they do say that that's a little bit stronger for babies, and I don't really know like what dosage I would give her, just because the dosage we got before was giving them together. So that's why I took her to the ER. They told me that she did have a fever, and I think she had 1 bump or something. No, she didn't have the bumps at all. And
at this point, Addie, this is my brother's daughter, she had the bumps.
She had all kinds of on her legs and her
private areas. So,
and they had said, because she took my sister-in-law, she took her into the ER too, and they had told her she was allergic to the chlorine, which I thought it was weird because it had been days before. So she got sent home, and I noticed that while I was in the ER, Amelia did have a bump on her hand and on her forearm. And I was just like, well, if she says it's allergic to chlorine, that wouldn't make sense because Amelia had already been doing swimming lessons and was already in the pool. So I told the nurse too, and she said that the doctor said there was nothing to worry about because it was nothing specific. And at that point, they had to do another catheter on Amelia just because she had already had the infection. They said that sometimes the first dosage of antibiotics doesn't always clear up the infection, because you have to get another round sometimes. So they did it, and honestly, like this time around, the nurse, because I think it was like a nursing student who was helping the nurse. They did it, and I had to explain to them that the first time around, when they did the catheter, like the nurse was really rough, and she wasn't there, so I wasn't able to like tell them which one it was. But they did it, and honestly, like it was such a different experience. Like they did it so like nice and smooth, and it wasn't rough at all. And Amelia did cry just because she was being restrained, but it wasn't like when they put it in, she didn't like get shocked. Like her face wasn't like, what the heck is going on? And it was like completely different experience, and I was just like, wow. And I even told them, like, honestly, that was like very different. Like you guys did it very gentle compared to the last time. Like she did it really rough, and she was rushed as well. Like she was just trying to do it quick. And I understand like sometimes when you do have a lot of people, like you're trying to get patients like out of the way, but honestly, like you're supposed to be especially on babies, like be gentle. Like it's a baby. It's not like a person who understands what's going on. Like they don't really know. and they're at the time they're sick, they're feeling horrible already. So it's just a different experience, and I was happy, not that it happened, but that it was a lot better and Amelia wasn't as scarred as last time. So they checked it, and they told us that, because my mom was with me, they told us that she didn't have any infection anymore, and that we were free to go, just to give her Tylenol and so to keep the fever down, as well as I told her about the bumps. Like I said, they said it was nothing to worry about. And I think the next day I had a visit with my pediatrician. So we went, and I told her about the bumps, and she said that it looked nothing specific. And then I showed her, because they had sent me a picture of his brother's daughter, and I showed her a picture of it, and she said, oh, that's definitely hand, foot, mouth disease. And I was just like, what the heck, like, that's weird. I'm like, they told her that it was an allergic reaction to the chlorine. She's like, no, like, by that picture, like, that's this. And I was just like, what the heck? So I called her up, and I told her, I'm like, oh, well, this is what my pediatrician said. And she's like, oh, what the heck? So she said that it was getting worse, especially like on her private area, and she was getting on her hands. And she was going to her baby's doctor at the time too. So I guess after their appointment, she diagnosed it, and Amelia's was getting worse. She was getting some on her legs, and eventually she got some on her private area, as well as her little finger. The forearm ones was getting worse, and she also got in her mouth. And I knew all right away that it was the hand, foot, mouth disease. So they didn't give her anything, and what we had gotten was a rash cream, not a rash cream, but an anti-itch cream, so that they don't scratch him. So I was just putting that on her until I think that night she was so like, because I had gone to work, and then the next day I had gone to work, and she was doing fine. She had ate. It was like I went to work like around 4, and that's the last time I fed her. And I guess I think I started to notice that she wasn't eating as much, and she was like drooling a lot, and I was just like, I'm pretty sure she has them in her mouth now. So I guess as I was at work, Jose went to go get ice cream and like free, like things that were frozen, just to help her like numb her mouth so she was able to eat, while my mom was taking care of her. And my mom was noticing that she was getting worse. And when I got home, we picked her up, and we came home, and I fed her a little bit, and she was just fine. So I'm like, oh, probably it wasn't that. But he had been giving her ice cream, so I think that numbed her for a little bit. And then we were just playing around with her, and then towards the night, she wasn't eating at all. And I was concerned, because I called my mom, and I was like, when's the last time she ate? And she's like, oh, she hasn't ate at all since you left. So basically she hadn't ate since 4. She only ate a little bit when I got home, which was around like 8:30, 9ish. So I was concerned, and she kept crying and crying, and we tried giving her like a popsicle just to help her out, but she would not drink anything. We tried giving her water, wouldn't drink anything. So we were just concerned, and I think she did have a fever, right?
Wait.
That night?
Yeah.
So she had a fever too. So we decided, since she wasn't eating and she had a fever, to take her to the ER. We already knew they wouldn't give her any antibiotics for it, since it is a virus, and they said that it just has to run its course. So basically we took her. They just took her temperature. They said that she did have a fever, and they said that they actually like made sure that it was the hand, foot, mouth disease, just because it did look very similar to chickenpox in some of the areas, as well as
the
measles. So basically they checked her, and they said that no, like, it is the hand, foot, mouth, and unfortunately they can't give us anything. The only thing they said was to give her Motrin and Tylenol, just so it could help her with the pain. But honestly, like, that wasn't enough, because since Amelia couldn't swallow, because she did have them in her mouth, because they hurt her so much, she was like drooling so much, and when we tried to give her the Tylenol or anything, it like she couldn't swallow it. So she was like choking on it, because it was hard for her to swallow. And then so basically we gave her some frozen yogurt at night, and it helped her because it was like soothing, and it numbed it a little bit, and then she was able to eat. So basically I was like relieved. It was already like 1 in the morning, and she barely had ate. And then later that day in the morning, she ate a little bit, not really, because I think like the sucking motion was what helped, like what hurt her, just because it was around her mouth area. And basically that happened, and then she was still like pretty bad in the morning, so I tried giving her more yogurt, and she just wasn't eating it at that point. So I was just kind of like concerned since she wasn't eating anymore. And then I think I gave her some water, and I took her on a walk just because she was tired of being in the room too. And since this disease, the hand, foot, mouth disease, is very contagious, so we were just concerned because since her cousin had it, she had it, I'm pretty sure everybody in the house was gonna have it, but to our luck, nobody got it, just because it's the babies. I think because their immune system isn't as strong and ours is. So Amelia is getting better. They got really bad. They kind of look like warts, I think. So she got them in her fingers. She got them on the palms of her hands. She had it on her forearm. She obviously got it in her mouth. She had it all over her legs, in her private area, on her foot, and like in her toes, like all over. And right now we're using this this like soap that's made out of chamomile and something else that supposedly is supposed to help dry them out. And it's been helping her a lot. Like all the ones on her private area are gone. The ones on her legs are being dried up. Her forearm was the one that got the worst because they were so big, and they looked like if she had popped them, but I never saw her scratch them. So those are almost going away. Her finger ones are like drying up and everything, so fortunately they are going away. She hasn't had any fever since then, so we haven't had to give her Tylenol. The ones in her mouth, I think thanks to the ice, like the frozen things, it helped her a lot. So now she's eating back to normal. There's times where she does like drool a little, but it also like her teeth are coming in, so everything was just piling up.
So yeah,
so her teeth were coming in, like the top ones. They're like, her whole gums are really swollen. Also she's like growing. She had like a growth spurt, so right now she's like walking. She's just like all over the place, so everything just kind of piled up into one. So we're just waiting for her to like get cured of this. We're just also double checking that we're cleaning her right away after she goes to the bathroom, because we don't want her to get the infection again. This is like very common, I guess, with kids, just because, especially in daycare, since if one kid gets it, they like all get it basically. Since we haven't been really taking her out, we've kind of kept the girls away from each other, just because it did say that they can get it again. So since her cousin had it, and she's already getting cured, she basically they're gone by now. But since Amelia was barely like at the beginning of it, we didn't want them to get her sick again. So basically that's why we kind of kept them away from each other for right now. But right now they're starting to play again. Amelia's are drying up. Hers are basically almost gone, I think. She's doing better. I mean, she's still being Amelia, happy baby, but you know, with her little sass and everything. So we're grateful that she is getting better now. That's all we care for her, like that she has good health. We like were very in a bad like state where we were just like kind of sad that this is happening to her, just because she was
like really back to back, like,
yeah, and she was like, you could tell she was suffering. So we just want to give awareness, just because this could happen to any baby or kid, and
boy or girl.
Yeah,
it's more common on girls. I think we mentioned that already.
For the UTI, yeah, but for like the hand mouth disease, is very common for everybody, all the kids, just because their immune system isn't as strong. So it's like, it's obviously going to be hard to stop your kids from slobbering on everything, or from them to get it, but it's a good way to be more cautious, especially of where they are. That's why I've always like been not scared, but like with daycares, since they all play with the same toys, and sometimes you don't really know if a kid's sick or not. Obviously they get sick right away if one of them is sick in the daycare system, but it's just like the kids are going to get sick regardless as they grow up. You can't really stop that, but we're just happy that it wasn't worse than we thought. Yeah, and now she's getting better, so we just wanted to make this video to give you guys a little update.
So this video is really long, so we're probably gonna have to cut it
a lot.
cut like, no, we're gonna make it like in 2 videos. So part 1 and part 2.
Oh, okay.
So so hopefully this is this info is helpful to you guys. So if you guys notice your baby acting a little, you know, not normal than what you're used to seeing, make sure to like act on and really like, I think it's safe just to take her to the ER and just get her checked, because
very safe than sorry, especially if they do have fevers, if they're crying without any reason, if they're just not themselves, if they're feeling weak.
So yeah, hopefully this information is helpful to you guys. That's why the reason why we made this video, so that we can spread awareness. I'm pretty sure there's already videos like this of people going through this, but
like we weren't even aware that could happen to babies. And there's a lot of disease that we don't even know, and like videos like these are helpful just because you kind of see like what you could do, just because sometimes like I feel like they don't tell you exactly like what could help them, because like for the hand mouth disease didn't give us anything, and I went to a Swami, Mexicans over here, and they said, oh yeah, this would help her with the little bumps, and it has, because there's no antibiotic or anything that could help him for that, since it is a virus. So
if you guys have any questions at all, we're gonna put our Instagrams on
down
the
below. You guys could message us or anything. We're not experts either, so don't think like
just our
experience.
side. You know, we're not saying we know everything about this, but we
just
will tell you what we've been through, and just give our advice to anybody who
since
reaches
we are
out.
first-time parents too.
Yeah, so we're new to this as well.
Alright, well this video is very long, so thank you guys again for watching. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell button to get notified every single time we post a new video. We are going to be posting more. Amelia's feeling better, so thank you guys, and we'll see you next time. Peace.